Well, here we are. It is day 4 of our workshops. We had coffee, and then at 6 o'clock we had the pre-recorded workshop, and that's because I do not feel qualified for special needs. I always feel like I'm like my hair. Let me just tell you, my hair is just doing something weird today. I think it's the weather. But anyway, so we're talking tonight about working from home, and I will tell you again, this is not one of my best subjects. I can point you toward resources. I can tell you what's worked for me, but when it comes to experience, I don't know that I have it yet. So I'll tell you my story. So I work in the homeschool community. I've volunteered for, oh gosh, we've homeschooled 17 years, so I volunteered most of that time. But something weird happened last year, and it's like it jumped from being a hobby and something I did. Well, I still love it, but you know what I mean. It's like it jumped from this level to another level, and this has just been an amazing year for me. I've spoken three, yeah, four, four, four. No, I'm wrong, y'all. I'm wrong. Three. I've spoken 3 online conferences. We've done multiple boot camps this month, which is almost like a conference but smaller. We've done just multiple things this year, and it just seems like just things have gone to a whole nother level. We have a possible retreat in the fall. I wanted to do one in person, and then COVID, and so it was going to be a cruise. And I mean, we were starting to have people sign up, and then everything closed. Then they opened everything back up, and now the cruises are closed again. At least they were. They might not be. You never know. So anyway, so I am learning to work, especially since I have a kindergartner and I have the kids and I have to balance school. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that I do, and I will tell you some places to get information, because I do not feel like I'm a I don't feel qualified. Okay, so on my shelf, I've talked about it before. There is a book on time management. It's called The Manager of Their Homes, and I'll actually pull it up. It's by the Maxwells. I think it's Terry and Jim is their name. I'm going to screen share. Let me get this right here. So anyway, so here is Google. Let me find it. So anyway, it's called Manager of Their Home. See, it pulls up because I pulled it up last week. This is the first book I ever used. Now, they are Christians, so you can be advised. Somebody's talking. I thought they called my name. So anyway, so Managers of Their Home. They have several books, like Manager of Their School, like several. This is the one I would get. It's for everything. And it really taught me how to schedule. So I used it for scheduling the kids, which is a job, guys. I mean, when you're teaching your kids, you picked up another job. So you wrote down everything. And so this is what I used. And I would reread this every year. And I actually have it on my shelf. I don't pull it out every year anymore, just when I feel like I need to refresh my mind. Then, I mean, this taught me to schedule. Now I use, let me pull it up. I don't use a paper calendar anymore, because I got to the year I started working so much. Let me see. I'm doing crazy things. The year I started working so much, I was trying to do a paper calendar but not taking it with me when I went anywhere, and it was getting me into trouble. I was double booking. I was forgetting things because I didn't write them down. I mean, I'd have pieces of paper. And so this is my schedule. I don't know if you can see it very well. I had to move it so I could see it. That was last week. Here we are right here. We are right here. This is where I keep everything down. Let's see. Does it scroll down? I can't tell. Let's see. Maybe like that. Nope. I don't usually use it here. I use it on my phone. But one of the things I like is, let's see. Well, it doesn't work quite like. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the wrong place. So here, I like to have like a 4 day at a time. So I have a bunch of meetings tomorrow, and then you can move forward like just today. So this is what I like to do. I usually on my phone, I have it like 3 days at a time so that I'm not overwhelmed, because that's what it happens. But I want to show you something on here so you'll notice. Okay, so let's see if I can move forward. Here is next week, well, next month. If you look right here at 11 a.m., Elisia's school. She is set in stone. I don't schedule anything else on that schedule ever. Ever. That is her time. That is her school time. And then I will probably add the my next up. My big girls schedule themselves and handle their own schedule. But Lacey can't teach herself. Olivia is still at an age where she needs to be overseen. So she has a time slot. Alicia will have a time slot this fall. Those are set in stone. They're on my calendar. I have one calendar. I don't like having multiple calendars. Now, you can keep extra if you need one for work, but you need one place where you're managing everything. Google, you can have multiple calendars and you can merge them. And then you can have it all on one calendar, because if not, then you're going to be like me and you're going to be scheduling things when you don't need them. So for me, I get up in the morning before most of that. My house, okay, everybody's house is not going to be like this, but my house tends to want to sleep 10 to 10. They like to have 10 to 12 hours of sleep. The baby still needs 12 hours, but she has a natural bent where she thinks she can stay up while everybody else is up. So what I do is I let her do her natural thing. I get up at 8, sometimes earlier. I do my basic work. This is the rote stuff that I don't need a lot of thinking for. I always try to have at least 1 cup of coffee. I get up, brew the coffee, get dressed. Then I'll do my basic work that is kind of rote, or the stuff, because that gives me, at 8 o'clock, that's giving me 2 hours of work. Here, I'm all set. I can see there's hey, I can't tell who you are, but hey, how are you? I'm glad you're here. We're talking about working from home. I told my story how I worked in the homeschool community for years for free. And then the last 2 years, I don't even know how it happened or what happened, but suddenly everything changed, and it moved from the consistency of what you'd say a hobby business is into uncontrollable working. And I was like, didn't know what to do. And I actually went through a course. The lady who is teaching lesson planning on Saturday, she also taught a time management class a couple of months ago. She is like a organizational business type coach. She gave me one of her courses because we were talking one day. We know each other. We live in the same city. I don't know. Somehow Mobile is just one of the most fabulous cities for having resources. We were really, really, really blessed in this area. So anyway, so she had a beta course, and she said, come on, go through this. And it broke everything down. And if nothing else, she helped me tame my time, because that's what it was, is I was overwhelming and working all the time, and I felt like my kids were getting the shaft. So for Lacey, like I showed my calendar, Lacey has a set time. Now she sleeps 10 to 12 hours, usually 12, and gets up at 10. So at 10, her school's at 11. So at 10, she has my attention. I do my rote work between 8 and 10. And then once she gets up, it's fine tuning. I don't have it set in stone, but but I know that there's nothing else at that time. So I get up, do my rote stuff, my work, the stuff that I don't really like to do, but doesn't take a lot of thought. I do that. Then when she gets up, we have breakfast. Then we about 11 we'll start her school. When she does school. Right now she's not. It's summer. She just does a little play. So she has school at 11, and 11 to 12, that's her main work. And then I have a list on my fridge for the big kids before they can hand her the iPad. they have to do something with her. And each girl, this year, each girl will have to pick something off the list, some kind of activity, because I don't want her sitting on the iPad, and I do work at least part-time now. I don't even know what to call it anymore. So then for me, some of the things that I do to make working at home really function is I outsource everything I can. Now, education, no, I do not outsource that with small littles. Lacey's 5. She does not need to be outsourced. My 12-year-old does not need to be outsourced because she has a gaming tendency. And if she's like her brother, who kind of got lost in the shuffle with the year I had Lacey, my youngest. So I'm pulling her close during the school year. Most of her work, she has math online, but most of the rest of her work is not online, and she does it physically here with me. So it's like 11 to 12 is Elysia. 12, my kids are sleeping 10 to 12 hours. They just had brunch. They're not hungry at 12. We tend to eat around 2. So then 12 to 1, there's Olivia, maybe longer. She's older, just depends on hers. I haven't figured out exactly how much I'm going to schedule for her. Then I'm going to send her to a project, something she can do on her own. I don't want her gaming this year. Gaming was not an issue until this year. It's her age. It's really her age. And Cole was the same way. I'm not against games, and I'm not against some gaming. I just don't want it to be an all-day thing. My big girls are very good at managing themselves and helping out. So if I set the menu, then they'll be able to usually follow it. Now, that's something we're working on this year. This is a new thing because that's where we've moved. I outsource everything I can. Like I said, I have zone cleaning for kids, which is one of my favorite cleaning things for kids. Even teens, it's clear, concise. There's no arguing. Everybody has a zone for the day. We can switch it every day if we want to, or we can switch it every week, or we can switch it every month. It just depends on what we want. The zone cleaning has kitchen. Nobody likes to do the kitchen. Okay, that is the least favorite zone because it's crazy. So I've kind of instigated that everybody cleans up before bed together, because if we go in there, we're done in 15 minutes. But the rest of the day, somebody has to be in charge of the kitchen. Then there's the bathrooms and the living room. And so then everything is kind of kept straight. There's also one when you buy the bundle, there's also the bedroom and the laundry. So my kids, you have to remember, mine are mostly teens, and my oldest has graduated and going to college. But we still have to work together. We're living in the same house. It is not something we pay. I don't do allowance for this kind of stuff because we're a team. I am considering some of the extras, paying them for some of the extras this year. I have not done that in the past, but they're older and they want spending money. And with COVID, we chose not to allow Juliana to go back to the Y. She was a lifeguard. We just didn't feel like it was a good thing for her to sit in the pool area where it's hot and kind of steamy with a mask on for 4 to 6 hours. We just decided that was not in her best interest, and that she did not have to work. And my son, who was a lifeguard, he is working somewhere else now. That does not require, it's outside lawn care. He doesn't have to do a mask there. Well, he's wearing a mask anyway. He does. They wear a mask to cover their mouth, make sure grass doesn't gust and stuff. But that's what we decided, that it just wasn't the best thing. So I'm looking at them being paid for some of the bigger stuff. So some of the ways I outsource is emails, which is a paid. And if you go into Professional Home Educator, and if you let me know if you want to see it, I'll tag you. The time management, there's several free menu planning services. One of even puts the meal on to the Google Calendar, but I tried out emails, and what I like about it is it's only about, for me, it's only about an extra $1 a week when you paid all of it up front. You pay for the year and then it's cheaper. I pick the menu, it puts it over into the Walmart pickup cart or wherever you want to shop if they're coordinated. Then it's in the cart, I schedule to pick up and pay for it. So I'm not having to physically think about putting these out. You see, not physically having to think to put things over there. I just have to go through. It's like when it goes to Walmart pickup, you have to go through and choose which brand you want. but I'm not having to transfer from this place to that place. So it was very convenient. So it was worth it for me. Another thing I outsource, I have teens. They do my driving for me. I mean, like piano, the girls drive themselves because Juliana's will be 17 in September. We'll start picking up our activities this fall. I mean, I'm being very choosy. Piano, it's a small group. It's not a huge place. Um, let's see what else. That's one thing. Finding like operations Calendly, which is an app I use, a calendar app for making meetings and appointments. It schedules it. People pick what they want. Then it puts it in Zoom, schedules the Zoom, and then it puts it on my Google Calendar, and I have not had to do that. So you have to find ways to streamline everything. Every mom is different. If you throw in something you want to streamline, I'll see what I can come up with. So another thing is school. I saw an example where a mama who works, and she had one little, and she had, like, you know how they have those Rubbermaid boxes, and there's like a drawer for each, and they're big. She had something for a subject in each box. So the baby, she's about 7 years old, 8 years old. All she had to do while mama was working is pull one thing out at a time. And then that's a good way to keep it organized. And then, another way is having, they could have work toys. Like I always talk about school, having school toys just for school. They could have work toys that are just for work. And that's a way to, if they're not doing school, it just depends on their age. My older kids I outsource more with them, and they can manage their own. But when they're little, they can't do that. I have to have dedicated time for Alicia, and Olivia could probably do some of her stuff, but she's still going to be in front of me this year so that I can make sure she stays on track. What else? What else can we streamline? That's some of the stuff I've seen. We have several really great. There's some really great groups that you can find. Let me share this. Let's see. I always feel like when I'm sharing, the way I have to turn my head to look, I always feel like I look like a little old woman. Remind me of my grandmother when I do that. Okay, there's some really great Facebook groups that you can get resources at. Let's see, in groups, here is Working While Homeschooling is one. She is actually a member in Fee. She's one of our members, and she's done a couple of workshops for us. She does a podcast, and what they do, she's actually a business coach. What she does is she interviews homeschool moms who are working all sorts of different jobs, and they tell you about it. And if they have something going on that they need fixed, she will talk them through it and give them. She did that with me. She had me on as one of her guests, and because we were talking when I was first starting to work. And another one is, let's see, where's that other one? This one, Working Homeschool Mom Club by Jen. She has awesome resources and emails and stuff, and she even has some courses, and I guess she has a business. I'm not sure what she does either. The main page is practical by default, but I just know she has some excellent resources in there. Now, she is one that they do not accept members all year long because they're so big. So you might have to sit there and just don't get stressed out, because eventually she'll put you in. Let's see. So that is those two. What else? What else we do? So I streamline, I menu plan, and everything's streamlined now. I menu planned before, but I just had to have another way. I use my Google Calendar only. I can have other calendars, but I was not taking them places, and I was getting, I was double booking. And that's one of the reasons I went virtual with my meetings, because I was overextending myself. This way, people go on. I can't have 2 or 3 people at the same time. I'm not stressed. everything's nice and smooth. I've streamlined a lot of things this year. What else? I'm trying to remember. What else have we done? Let's see. If you go to the boot camps, Susan Hale has some getting organized. She has a boot camp going on this week, and that's pretty awesome. So she's got good stuff too to go through to streamline. I'm trying to remember what else. Let's see. Those are the main things I streamline because those are the main things that stress me. I try to pick things that are in the Instapot or crock pot, things I don't have to think. I just put it in and it's done. Then they're not working, not figuring out. When all the kids were little before I worked, one thing I would do when I was stressed, because this was, having multiple kids and teaching several. I had a young mama who wanted some extra spending money, and she would come clean my bathrooms and mop my floors. So, yes, housekeeping is totally a doable thing. So, if you can afford it, that's another way to streamline. Gosh, sometimes I'd like somebody to come in and wash the clothes. That's one I've been trying to figure out how to do that because my girls don't always want to wash, and I don't always want to wash because Mama cannot do everything, and that's the bottom line. Even if you're just a teacher, Mama can't do everything, and that's just, we only have a certain amount of time every day, and we have to find ways to make it operational and make it move forward so that we're not burnt out at the end of the day. Because that's what happens when you're trying to do everything. You're trying to work, you're trying to teach, you're trying to clean, you're trying to menu plan. When you're doing it all, you're going to burn out. So you have to find ways to streamline. And even if it's just 1 or 2 classes, like, Olivia will have math. Math is not my strong subject. So all my girls except Alicia will have math online. And so I have someone else. They may have some, they're going to have ASL online this year. They love American Sign Language. So it's online this year. So, there are ways you can streamline so that you're not overwhelmed with what you're doing. Out school is one. You can outsource education. If they're older, I like online. And I've been looking at some just because I don't know what the next year will hold. This year I feel like I had been flying at the seat of my pants, and I just don't know how much more it'll be. So, I've looked at some, but I don't want to sacrifice their education for the sake of being easy for that. I'll streamline other things. It's more important to me to streamline other things than education. Because, they grow so fast. And with littles, like a 5-year-old, there can be holes if you're not paying attention. And I don't want holes with her phonics or her math. But eventually they do grow up and they don't need us quite as much. My big kids have a lot of their stuff is outsourced. They're high school. I'm more like the facilitator at that point, and we do a lot of stuff together. They show me what they need when they, it's a balance. It's a balancing act. But anyway, if y'all don't have questions, tomorrow we have coffee at 4. We have all about high school at 6. Then we will have our wrap up, where to find help. I'll show y'all where to find some consultants, where to find some extras, and just talking about when to find help. So anyway, we've had a great week, and I am going to see you tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.